Hi, this is Celeste, and I have some breaking news for you today. And I am going to share my screen. So let's go here. And the first thing I'm going to do is show you this video that I saw this morning about New Delhi in India. And it's about mucor mucormycosis, which is a fatal fungal disease. And I really want you to go and listen to this particular piece. It is up on YouTube, and um, and why I am so concerned about it. The reason I am concerned about it is at the same time that the pathogen came out from the Wuhan, there was a second pathogen that was also came out, and that is called the plant destroyer. It's an oomycete. It is a water mold, and we're going to learn a little bit about it today and why it is a fatal fungal disease and why I feel that you should know about it. So we're going to go over here to Wikipedia, which has its advantages sometimes. It comes from the Greek, meaning plant destruction or plant destroyer. As I said, it's in the genus of plant damaging oomycetes or water molds, and it is a species that is capable of causing enormous economic crop losses worldwide. And it was discovered in 1875, and there are 100 and 150 undiscovered related fungi in that particular family. Now I want you to see, why am I so concerned? I had a forest in my house. These were established trees. I had lemons, limes, oranges, various spice trees. They were 15 years old. They were highly productive. Like my lemon tree had 100 lemons on it every season. And I would pick my own mandarin oranges at Christmas time, straight from the tree. And all of a sudden, at the time of the pathogen, they died, and they died within 2 months. And over here is kind of what it looked like. The leaves turned brown. And actually, there was like these crystals at the base. It kind of looked like rock salt, the kind of salt that you use when you make homemade ice cream. That was the toxic plant was trying to get this oomycete out of its body. It was trying to detox, if you will, and it was trying its very best, but all of the trees died within 2 months. I mean, you're talking my whole house. I had trees growing in every room in my house, and they all died. All I have left are cacti. It's really sad. This, as you can see, look at all the various species that there are. It's just pervasive. But so this particular oomycete plant destroyer was actually responsible for the Irish potato famine, but that's back before it was weaponized. This particular plant destroyer did come from a biolab. So we know that it has been weaponized. So even it was dangerous as it was, but now it has a weaponized factor to it that we absolutely must consider as we go forward. And why am I concerned? because one, it can affect any of your crops. These trees that I had were inside the house, and they died inside the house. So obviously the spores from this umicide had gotten into my home. A lot of people ask me, well, don't you have these really high grade air filters? And yes, I do. But the problem is I have to turn them off to broadcast, or you would just be hearing my air filter. And then Miss Celeste forgets to turn them back on. So that's my problem. And that's how they got into the house. So what are some of the things? I mean, I tried everything. My first line of defense is sulfur, but it did not react. If you let this get entrenched in your plants or in your body, it's going to be really hard to get out. I thought that this was a really good idea, that because we're in this environmental situation, if you are reusing pots, like I am going to do my spring fling tomorrow and plant seeds, that I am going to need to soak my pre-cleaned pots in 180 degrees for at least 30 minutes. And I do have some aerated steam. So that's what I'm going to do. I might also use the added bleach to make sure that my pots are sterile. Otherwise, you can just be transferring your problem. That said, I am buying 40 pounds of sulfur in a bag. It's powdered sulfur. And actually plants love it. You just dust it on them, and they love it, especially peppers and tomatoes. So that's one thing that you want to get is some sulfur. And it doesn't have to be expensive, like these guys are expensive fungicides, and you're supporting the very companies that really isn't such a great job to support. So this parasitic water mold can damage fish, just so you know. And I guess 1 million people died in that Irish potato famine. And so this was the culprit right here. And this was not weaponized, of course, back in that time. And it was the Phytophthora infestans and blight. Just this is in the blight family. And when you read your Bibles, there are a lot of passages about early and late blight as a judgment. And we need to be looking at that this is part of God's judgment, and that we do have to deal with it. And it is because the world has sinned. So this is, like I said, the cause of, in this case of the potatoes, it was late blight, but I have also experienced an early blight, like on my tomato plants. Now, this comes from the National Institute of Health, and it was basically looking at candida, but also some different other types of molds. And so if you go to the National Institute of Health, you can find some natural antifungals. And I was surprised to find that cinnamon is one of those things that you can use to fight a fungal infection. Also, red algae, you can, and there's different forms of red algae, I guess. Orthoquinolones in the Riverostol family. And the Riverostol comes from the grapes. Let's see. There are simpler ones than this. I guess they went through like 25 of them. and I didn't have a lot of time this morning to investigate. But you can just type into your search engine natural antifungals. Now, why would you want to use a natural antifungal? One, because it's easier on the liver. Most antifungals are really hard on your liver, and our liver's already working overtime because of all the toxins in our environment. So it's good to use natural. So I just recently had a fungal infection, and so I used capriolic acid and also selenium. And so if you just take one selenium, it cleared it right up, and I didn't need any antifungal other than that. If you get lesions on your hands, you can put Selsun Blue on your hands, and then put gloves on it to protect it so that it kills it, make it like a closed environment. It will shoot your selenium in your blood up, but I didn't have any toxic results from that. I did that about 30 years ago when I had one. So anyway, you can look, let's see, did it say anything in particular? They just said they were going to embark and look for more uh, natural antifungals. So here's the capriolic acid. Um, you can also use coconut oil. Let's see, what is that? Monolaurin. There's a product called Monolaurin, and it's the part of a coconut. So it also is a good antifungal, and it treats yeast infections. Now the thing is if you do get this, and it does get in people's blood, and I'll explain that in just a second, you cannot eat sugar, you cannot eat carbs. You need to have a very vegetable, ketogenic type diet so that you're not feeding the infection. You want to get rid of it. So, because it is lethal. Now, what this video was talking about is that it gets into your nose, and that's, we all have a lot of muck in our nose. It's kind of like a petri dish. But then it gets into our eyes. Some of the symptoms are like black and blue bruising, red in the whites of your eye. And then if it gets in your eye, you have about a 50-50 chance of living. But the division between your eyes and your brain is very, very small. And so it doesn't take anything for that oomycete mold to get into your brain. And what they were explaining in this video is once it gets to the brain, there's no chance for survival. You go really quick, just like my plants went really quick. So it is something that you want to get on and be diligent. Your life depends upon it. You get my email out, you don't need that. So I guess that's it for the water. You need to watch your plants, watch your own body. If you have signs of a fungal infection, get off the sugars, get off the carbs. I know it's hard. Get some capriolic acid, get some selenium, or whatever your favorite antifungals. I would get about 4 or 5 antifungals. Now we know cinnamon is one of those. And that way, you're prepared in case you get it. It's not going to hurt to have those things on hand. And once you start feeling kind of crummy, you're not going to feel like going out and going shopping and all of that. So I just wanted you to be aware that this plant destroyer was found in the blood of the first patients that had the pathogen. Um, it was 50-50. They were looking at both of them, and I do have the patient chart notes. So I just wanted to bring this to you, put this on your radar. It's nothing to freak out about, but it's just something to know about and to be prepared. So this is Celeste, and we'll see you next time.